Hi everyone, I am back today and we are going to make a cute little snowman card. I'm super excited about that. Here I'm using the Colorado Craft Company Sweetest Snowman Mini and I'm stamping it in some black ink and I'm making sure it's Copic friendly ink, and I'm going to get ready and we're going to have some fun coloring the snowman up for this card. This is actually my first time using this camera setup and I'm super excited about trying it out. I wasn't sure what angle to use, so I actually go ahead here and change the angle to see if maybe that was better. I'm not sure which one I like better yet, so I'll keep playing around with that. It's really hard to show coloring off without covering up what you're doing, and that's the whole point of watching a video, is to see what you can do, what they're doing. Anyways, I'm using purple as the edges for the snow, and then I'm covering it up with gray. I'm trying to keep it really light and not cover the snowman up too much, but I do want it to have some life to it. So I felt like the purple would really bring light to the snowman. You would think snow is just white, but there's actually a lot of gray shades that go into it when you are coloring it and in real life. I mean, there's shadows all around us. Here I am trying to keep the snowman purple and blue because I was doing a color challenge that I will link down below if you're interested in that. Here I am outlining. I typically do 3 colors when it comes to anything that's not super small. So I am using dark to light here and then adding an extra where I need to blend. I was really unsure how it was going to look with purple and blue, especially on a winter thing. But I actually really like the way that the colors seem to blend together. It was a little bit outside of my comfort zone just because I've never seen a snowman with a purple hat before or a blue scarf. But I mean, that's the fun part about making cards, is really it can be whatever you want it to be. So I went ahead and ran with the blue and the purple because I felt like I could bring the purple out also in the snow slightly, which would tie it all in together. And I felt like, the sky has blue and whatnot. So I really like the color combo at the end of the day. Here I am using 2 different shades of brown. I'm trying to go as thin as I can so I have a little bit of room for the second shade just to give it some life to the color. Now, this upcoming part was a little bit hard for me because I made the nose gray because I was trying to keep it only in the purple and blue and neutrals. But I think it turned out really well, so I'm happy with it. I knew I wanted the snowman to kind of be in front of the background without blending in, but I didn't want to add too much bulk and just had a whole sheet of paper there. So I went ahead and took the center of what the die cut would be and I cut a shape around it so I'd have just enough for coloring the background. Now here I wanted something a little bit more of a darker look, kind of what you would see maybe when there was a blizzard or something where the sky is just really lit up. So that's a little bit darker than my initial example that I did. I had originally tried to record this when I was just using my old phone and it just did not turn out. So I finally went ahead and set up this whole new camera setup, and I really wanted this to be my first project. So I think with anything with coloring, the second time you do it, it's always a little bit different, but that's the fun part about art, honestly. And I really like the vast difference between the two, the subtle sky and then the more, kind of feel like this is a blizzardy sky, and I like it. So now with this, I knew I was going to splatter snow on it, and I wanted it to be more of a, what I like to call, blizzardy sky. So I wasn't too concerned with how well it would blend in because I knew the snow would be very forgiving. With this, the amount of, you're just going to want to keep applying ink, honestly, because that's going to be what helps blend it the most. I will put down the colors that I used for my original card. If you'd like that look better, I'll list it down below in the comments and it'll be up on my blog also. Now, with this amount of ink, your paper really does matter. I'm using the Neenah 110 Classic Crest Solar White here, and you'll see when I turn it over, nothing bled through, and that is just an amazing thing when it comes to alcohol markers. Here I combined white acrylic paint with a shimmer mist to kind of make it a little bit more loose so I could easily splatter it around. I used a shimmer spray because I feel like snow naturally has a little bit of a glimmer to it. Now I had Fussy cut this out and try to do something where I was lining up the die cuts with the previous one and I had it all videoed, but I don't know what happened to the file. It's just completely frozen, so I don't have that for y'all, but you can see that this doesn't perfectly line up, so I went ahead and cut the trees down and sanded it a little bit. But I think that kind of worked out better because it gives more of a dimension that there's more than one hill. And I put the snowman in between them because I really didn't want the snowman falling flat. And I felt like having the layers in between really made the snowman still stand out. With dimension in mind, I went ahead and cut some thin strips to glue behind my snowman to keep him upright but not create the bulk behind him. That way he kind of just appears to be there without blending in. Here I'm using some liquid glue because I prefer liquid glue. I feel like it's a little more forgiving. I make a lot of mistakes when I'm crafting, so I need all the forgiveness that I can get. I am only applying enough glue to where it will stick to the background. I didn't want it to be too much because I do have the background cut down and I just don't want a sticky mess. Now I've got my score board out and I am making my card base. Not sure what happened to the rest of that thing. Like I said, one of my first few YouTube videos, doing the best I can. But I'm having a blast, so that's what matters. I'm going to go ahead and apply the top to the card base. As we're finishing up the last few details, I want to thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it. And now we've got the little Sweetest Snowman friendship card. Thanks again. Have a great day.